Hello, hello. It's Knockout 21. How are you all doing? Sonic Software
Sonic
Planning.
software planning.
I think they changed their name as soon as Sonic Team became more of a thing. Regardless, this is well, it's not a direct sequel to Shining in Darkness or Shining in the Darkness. It's it's something else. Ah, there we go. So, what is this? This is a 3D dungeon crawling game done by Sonic Software Planning. One of the games that definitely caught my attention back in the day. Ah, great. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Hold on. There we go. Oh. It's an interesting game. I can't say too much about it because, well, I'm terrible. Like, this is the first time I played this game, so I can't say too much about it. But the fact that it's familiar to Shining in the Darkness gives me some comfort. Um, and of course, there'll be a dog barking, because why not? And I can see that there's more types of more classes. Um, I like China in the Darkness, which the characters were phenomenal. I like the characters there. Oh, wait. There was a chest, right? I have to chop down a tree or something. Now, I really appreciate this map. I don't have to. This eliminates me having to go out and get a graph paper. It really does. Talking about like the Saturn, um, it. I know earlier I said it was a disappointment, and it still is, but it has its games and it has its fans. So I can't say anything too bad about it. Um, and it reminds me of the one guy in high school that actually had one. Um, and the this, this was after I got my PlayStation, and I was busy. I was busy with my PlayStation, talking to my friends, telling them about like rival schools and this game and that game. So, whoops. So I don't know. He was part of our class. I think he was part of my homeroom. And it was like one other guy there, and we would, and then like we were. I think we would ask him like, what games does he play? And he basically said, "Oh, I have a Saturn." And then like I just said, "Oh, did you?" I just start bringing up games I remember, like, oh, do you have like Sega Rally or I forget what other game, or the Panzer Dragoons Y? He's like, yeah, I got those two. And but he didn't really talk much. Like, um, I remember I would like approach him and ask him about types of games that he might have had, or or if he imports. And he told me he imported X-Men versus Street Fighter, but like he couldn't get his Saturn to work it because he couldn't get the cartridge to work. And I was like, oh, that sucks, like. Oh, alright, that's not gonna work. But yeah, like, I, but yeah, we would talk, and I remember him asking me like how I know so much about the Saturn, and I just told him, oh, my brother had it. My brother had it when he was still around, and I told him I remember playing Virtua Fighter. Like basically, what I tell you guys. I told him I remember playing Virtua Fighter when my brother first, got it, and I thought it was really cool back then. But I guess it is what it is. but he seemed to be enjoying his Saturn. I I couldn't really like I couldn't really like fault him. Like if you enjoy your system, you're gonna enjoy your system. I remember like, but I remember during those days, seeing him, I was like, that could have been me. I remember thinking that could have been me. I could have sold my PlayStation, gotten a I could have sold my PlayStation, gotten a Saturn, and probably like miss out on a lot more games. Cause trust me, there were not a lot of games, man. Like when I went to, I'm pretty sure it was Toys R Us. I'm pretty sure it was Toys R Us. But when I went there, when I saw that we were missing a lot of like all those games that weren't there, it would just it really dissuaded me. Like it really did. Like how am I supposed to? Am I supposed to like find a reason to play on a Saturn? But what you're looking at right now is a good reason, right? I'm actually having fun with this. Even with all the... Oh man. Even with all these random battles, I'm still having fun. No. Oh, only one? I can see similarities to Golden Sun. Hold on, guys. Okay, should be doing good for a while. Ouch. Melody advances to level 5. Huh. Fairy Squad. You know, it's when I first got the Saturn, I never imagined that I would get or really expand my library um, beyond fighting games. Huh. I really thought it was going to be just fighting games because the thing was, with everything that was going on, with like with the compilations and finding out that the Saturn has the best version of these games, I thought that was all I was gonna find. Right? It was like I can't for the life of me see myself investing in a system that doesn't have the games that I wanted. I remember I remember getting it because I want, like, none of my mom and pop stores nearby me had them at the time, and I I remember going to one and asking if they had any Sega Saturns, and they said, "No, we haven't got a Sega Saturn in for like a long time." You know, and I was like, "Well, how often do you?" How, well, how often do they come in? And they say, "Well, we'll get maybe like 2 or 3 a year." And that's how it was, really. Like, wow. And basically we had a conversation about how how bad the Saturn had it, and we're talking about like what could have been. Um, and I remember, and basically the same spiel I told him, like, yeah, I remember as a kid really hoping to get kid at that point being me 10 years earlier. But I remember telling him, yeah, I was really hoping to see like Streets of Rage and and this game and that game, and nothing never like showed up. And and I remember telling him, like, yeah, I remember telling the teller, yeah, like, yeah, yeah, like I remember getting a PlayStation, and then and thinking I should sell it so I could get a Saturn. But when I saw that there was no games, I didn't do it. Like, it was like, yeah, good, yeah, good, good idea. Um, But he asked why would I want one, and I said, well, I'm looking to get some of the fighting games. Oh, fighters, right? You're looking to get a X versus Street Fighter? I was like, yeah, yeah, and so you're probably better off with getting the Japanese one. And like, yeah, but I like how the American one looks. Like I told him, like the sleek black always seemed cooler to me. And we were going having this conversation about it. Huh. I already have a bronze staff. All right. We were just talking about it, but doesn't want to stick his hands in the thing in the hole anymore. But eventually, like you know, oh man. When Charlie left, and then like like after a while, I went to get I went on eBay, and I just like bought. I saw that people were selling Saturns pretty cheap. I found a decent one for $40 with like a control and wrong one. With like a control and stuff, and and then and that was it. Like you know, I bought it. I got an action replay, and and that was that. Like I I pretty much felt like all my games are going to end up being Japanese, and it's because of the fighters, right? Because of the fighters, and that's how it remained. Now, it was through this avenue, right? I got like a couple of fighters in, and then like I was like, um, maybe I should see what else is out there. Like I was curious. Really was curious. Like, well, let's see what else is out there, right? I Because at the time I was thinking it's only Virtua Fighter. A porcupine? Oh, a hedgehog. I wonder if you can move these. I just wanted to see what was out there, what was available. And then like I started investigating what people were saying about the Saturn, their memories, all this stuff, and people generally had a positive feeling for the Saturn, right? Like, even though I didn't have one at the time, I, I was aware of it, and I was like, well, when in Rome, might as well, like, see what I could try out. And and this was when the games were still relatively cheap, right? I Man, if I look at my list, could probably tell you. But I remember getting Knights. Now, I the reason I got Knights, and it's honestly I don't get it. The Knights is an acquired taste. Uh, but I do remember the commercials, and I do remember what some of the magazines were talking about it. Um, but what they were saying about Knights. But the main idea I got, the main reason I got it was because, honestly, I wanted the 3D controls so I could play Duke Nukem and Quake. Oh, family of slugs. That way so I could play Quake. But then I started playing Knights, and I really couldn't get it. It was of course a flying obstacle course. You can't really fly anywhere. You're still stuck on a 2D plane, but it was very whimsical, very Cirque du Soleil. It had this weird vibe to it, and I played it. It took me a while. I was able to beat it. You know, Basically, you had to get a high score to get to the next level. And trust me, I tried. I really tried, but I was not having any fun. And I remember thinking, we didn't get a Sonic on here because of this, right? Oh man, you have to heal Melody in the next turn. Like, instead of a Sonic, Sega was pushing this. Honestly, I did, I see the appeal of it. It's very different, right? It's very whimsical, but honestly, we should have gotten a Sonic. We should have gotten a Sonic. There was no reason why. Oh no, we went further down? Yes, we went further down. But I played this thing. I'm like thinking. I'm thinking, well, how is a kid supposed to learn how to play this? It felt it like it required very precise movements and memorization. You couldn't just like start flying around. You really had to like um, know where to go, how to collect everything, and all that stuff. And I'm like, I I can see the appeal, but a kid is never gonna get this. You know, kids eventually got su- kids eventually got Super Mario 64. It was, you know, they gave you an obstacle course. You could jump around, do all sorts of different things. But there was, you know, there were goals you know, involved. Um, that what Knights was trying to do was something very alien, and you know, I'm not sure if I'm not sure it will appeal to any kids. Like, like every time I hear about people talk about Knights, it's always someone older, like someone around my age or a little older, like GG Valentine and some of the Shiro guys. Like they're the ones that talk about it, and I'm like, why can't I hear like a 30-something-year-old talk about it, or a 20-something-year-old talk about it? And I could tell it was only meant for a specific type. I've always argued that, you know, the Nintendo was always the kiddish audience, right? It meant for the kid audience. But that's, you know, that's how you get you know, that's how you start your next like generation of gamers to, you know, they're the ones that they're gonna end up buying the future systems, right? Hold on, let's see. Huh. A leprechaun. I went all around for nothing. Oh, man. Eh, I might be getting someone mad with what I just said, but really, I think we needed a Sonic. I really did. Bug was an okay game. I do remember seeing kids play that in the Toys R Us at one point. But we definitely needed a Sonic. Man, like whenever I hear all these interviews on about old Sega developers and all this stuff, what I would like to know is if when did development kits start to arrive in Sega of America, right? Another one? Yeah, I was hoping to find some. Like I hear all these guys talk about the games they worked on, um, what they had in mind, but what I don't hear is like when they got the development kits, when did they get instructions, how long did it take them to get like anything very like how long did it take for them to get anything working on the system. Mouse? Oh, what they give you?
Cake?
More cake.
Kenzie never good cake. Well, I want the little one more but you tell me go. And I'm talking about the pants. Since it's ripped in the rip on the bottom of it. Between the fangs.
No.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Throw them away.
throw them away. Or you could like cut them up and make them like shorts. Oh, you could do,
Little pop waistline.
yeah, bottom booty shorts or something.
I'm sorry, but I only got a big enough booty for that.
I sure you want
You
to.
went to seal wrap the cakes? Cake wrap?
Might as well. Oh man. We'll interview my wife right now, Maria, aka Mega Mouse, aka Silver Mouse, aka the Librarian Mouse with the bun on the head. Okay.
Okay. What nickname
Do,
I
do
have for
you do you remember when you got your 64? Was it a holiday or was it a birthday?
It was
Or was it just a random day?
just more like a random day.
It was a random day, right? Okay. Did you guys own Mario 64?
Yes, it came with the console.
It came with the console.
Yes.
Okay. How long? eh, How long? At, how long after did you get your 64? Did you get the next game?
Well, that's the thing though. We never got a next game. We just got that one, and the rest we mostly rented.
Okay. Well, how long you waited till you rented the next game?
Not that long. Maybe about a week later. Go to the video store and all, and rent the 64 game. I said the most fun that I had to rent was Mario Party. And we did have to rent 2 extra controllers, which the video store did offer that, like we can rent a controller. But we only have 1 day to play. So it's like we gotta make that day count.
Well,
I have to admit though, now I'm kind of getting those blisters and all, but yet, you know what? That was before they had a health warning on it. And when it comes to doing the wind up or spin, or like the spins,
okay. Now tell me how long did it take you to get like good at Mario 64? Like,
it took time.
oh, it took time.
Yes, and also plus I kind of like cheated a little in that game.
How?
Okay, you know that one part with the penguin and all that you have to get the baby penguin and all, you have to get it to the mama. Instead of going the long way,
You threw it down and followed it?
I just jumped off the cliff of it and I was like, and landed where exactly where it can land and all, and go to the spot where the mom was at. I didn't want to go through all the trouble going down the slide and stuff and all, so I was like, I just like did that.
Well, you're not the first person to do that.
I know, but still, they kind of like cheated on that one and all that.
That's
one,
not
like,
cheating. That's like taking a shortcut.
Cheating
Cheating is like if you use a Game Shark.
Okay.
Like I use a Game Shark because I can't get my cartridge to fit on the 64, so that's what I use.
One of the ways still I can't believe.
What?
But there was a tattoo artist at the convention, and I could have gotten a tattoo done.
Of what?
A quarter size tattoo done of something adorable. You know, that's gonna be the tiniest tattoo, though, the tiniest tattoo I would ever have. Quarter size. I don't know which what design he would have in his booth and all. I would have probably checked it out, but see which was affordable. Hey, I was like, well, the only time I could afford a tattoo was like $100 at most.
Hold on.
And if I'm gonna be paying for something nice or a little elaborate and all, I would wanna put in more money into it. But I wouldn't wanna go with colors. Like, I'm not a fan of that one.
Oh, Jose's here.
Hey, Jose.
Oh, I think he's gone now. I was busy talking to you.
I should have just like check on social media and see if I can find who's the artist for that one and see what was his designs and all.
Put a Miku head.
Yeah, but then the hair's gonna be like a lot of work though.
Well, just one with the pigtails that go around the chin or something.
True.
There you go for a while. I'm gonna be out here. Oh, Jose's back. How you doing, Jose? Well, how long after you got the 64 were you finally able to beat Mario 64?
Yeah.
How long? Like a month?
Okay, think of it for a couple months or maybe about a year or so. And all.
A year?
Well, no, I was mostly going through school, through life, you know? Like, I had things to do.
That would make me feel like pathetic.
Ooh, sorry if I had a life, you know, I had
No,
school,
I
work, you know, so
you're telling me that I don't have a life. I I was hanging out with friends playing Metal Gear.
Oh, I was mostly at school. I was like,
Uh, let's see. Oh, oh. Oh, I could push C. Thanks for joining me again, Jose. Oh, playing the same game, man. Man, it's... So I just looped around. Yep, it looped around. Gotta check everything, because God knows if I'm gonna find another one of these critters. 2 fairies, an incubus, and a leprechaun. Oh, I will tell you right now, man. I'll tell you right now, man. Like how games are made now really isn't very good. Honestly, man. Like, it feels too industrial. It's like I can see the benefits of it. Um, when back in the day when the systems when they were very different, you know, like even all the way up to the PS3 and Xbox 360, those machines they were very different from one another, and games were made to be geared towards the strengths of those machines. So, you know, that's why you had like the RPGs and the storytelling on the Super Nintendo, and the Genesis had all those action games and shooters. like there was a very it was very like you know, the games were very different. When things became more like similar, it like with the Xbox, you know, the Xbox One and the PS4, you know, that they did it because people wanted the developers, the game makers, they wanted, they didn't want to have trouble, you know, making you know, porting games from one system to another. They wanted it to be as seamless as possible. And of course, Microsoft and Nintendo will go ahead and they do that. And it's like really, damn, it took forever to kill that one. You know, and that's why the games, they seem so samey. Like nothing's unique anymore. Everything's kind of like standard. That's why you get. That's why Ubisoft has all those games that feel the same, like what, like Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs and Far Cry and all that. It just feels very samey, right? But back then, man, like the the games were like very unique. Of course, there were ports that were like that went across between between games, but you know they had to adjust things. Um, you know, you have a you have programmers called there are people using a software tool called SGDK to make those games, to make new games. Oh, nah. Old systems, they don't really have the I don't think they have the memory capacity to handle like networking. Like, gen- like Jose, do you remember the Sega Channel? If you don't remember the Sega Channel, I'll tell you. The Sega Channel was a thing you connect to your cable line. Yeah, and you you would use it to you use it to like basically download games onto the cartridge, and then play it through your Genesis. The problem that is that all of the function was being done on a cartridge by itself. Like the thing had like the cable line had to go to the cartridge, and then do all this stuff. All that network functionality was done on a cartridge. Nothing was being done on the Genesis itself. What if they were to ever if they were to ever bring back something like that again, uh, I there's no reason they should, but it would have to be a cartridge again. There, you know, there's something called the Evercade, which uses cartridges, and you know, plus I think what's more likely is that they'll do what they did with the 360 and the Wii, and they would just like make old games available on newer machines. They've been doing that for a while. People prefer it that way. Yeah. And I really don't see a problem with digital. It's just that there's no way to safe keep your library. I I was an early adopter or something like that. I I remember like when Xbox Live Arcade was on the 360 and had all those little games that cost like $5. I love those. Getting Double Dragon, getting like um, Geometry Wars, this game, that game. Like they were like they were very cheap games, but they were all digital. And you know, Choplifter, and then, however, eventually eventually, like my Xbox Red Ring, right? And I had to send it out to get repaired, and you know, and then like then like Microsoft lost my Xbox, so they gave me a new one. And um and I had to download all my games. Like I remember downloading Double Dragon, and I couldn't, and the internet at my house was really trashy. Like it wouldn't work all the time. And I remember I couldn't play my Double Dragon, right? The internet wasn't always working, but at least my online games would, you know, at least a lot of my games would work, until like I would try to play Double Dragon, and it wouldn't let me. It'll like read it as a demo, and it wouldn't read it as as like a full copy. You know, going home. Cool. So that became a problem, right? So that became a problem, and the only way I could ever play that game, they, the only way I could play that game is by connecting to Xbox Live Arcade, so the game knows that I'm the owner. And trust me, it's a big issue, and it made me realize that wow, this could be a problem, right? The problem with cartridges is that they're expensive. Cartridges are expensive, man. We you can't realistically make cartridges a thing with how much data a lot of these games have. You know, the they even with the Switch 2, the like a lot of those games, they they still have issues. So I think it was like the Star Wars game, um, can't stream any data off the cartridge because it's just too slow. Let's see what's over here. Always sounding good. It's expensive, man. Cartridges are way too expensive. Can you really think about it? Like some of these games are like 100 plus gigabytes. If you talk the practical terms, a one like a 128 gigabyte USB 3.0 drive is like what like what, like 40 $50 right now. It, it's not practical. It really is not practical. Then you're talking about like then you're talking about like they have to put in like countermeasures to prevent people from oh man. It's magic. Then you talk about like having to put like anti-piracy things on a cartridge. Man, there's all sorts of things that have to be done. And you're talking about like how to do memory. How to what like ROM chips? can they even work? Like, nah, it's a whole thing. I don't think they. The reason why Blu-rays were still work is because it was the cheapest out of the bunch. But the reason why the Switch and the Switch 2 use cartridges or cards is because they were thinking about low power consumption and portability. Oh God, if it. Oh, I could just imagine how big if they were to make a cartridge-based system right now. Can you imagine how big the cartridge would be? You ever heard of a Neo Geo? You know, those cartridges were huge. I mean, they were huge. They were the size of a console, right? And those were like maybe a couple of megabytes big. Now talk about several gigabyte system, like game system, game cartridge. Oh, forget about it. Oh, it'll be the size of this TV right now. That's how big the cartridge will be. I admit that'd be quite a sight. That will be quite a sight to look at, a cartridge the size of a 40-inch television sticking out of the back of a system. Oh, yeah, those were big. Yeah, I have the door open because it's kind of hot. I kind of feel like playing Golden Sun now. Oh. Well, this is one of them this time. Man, but I really don't like, how do I even put this? Newer games from nowadays, they're not really. They're not really interested in me too much. Like people talk about the about like the game preservation and stuff, but oh, I found mithril ore. But I'm really looking at it, and I'm looking at like there like what games do I really want preserved of right now? All the games that I care about, right? All the games that I care about, I already have, right? I I, I backed them up on my hard drive. The newer ones that I do care about, like on the Xbox One and on the Switch, I have them. I have them all like safeguarded. Man, Cobra Pot. That was the first time I come across a mimic. Really. Damn, this thing really doesn't want to. Hmm. I just gotta start wailing on it. Oh, look at all these antidotes I have. I'm gonna have to close it. The last thing I need is to get demonetized over Spanish music. I seem to be doing good. Okay, let's see. I should just use magic. Oh, I have my own healing. Man. Another one. Okay. I thought I would have been out of this tunnel already. Aha. How much gold do I have now? Quite a bit, I guess. Really again? Imagine if it came out again. Was it a new fairy? A pixie named Willow was found. Oh wait. Still have to check. I'm always checking it to see spots I haven't been to yet. I might stream tomorrow. I got work tomorrow, so I don't know if I can. Ah. Okay, well, it was a bit of a waste. All right, good night, Jose. Oh, there we go. I don't know why the Saturn's struggling to be at 60 frames here. First off, that is not root beer. I could instantly tell that they censored that. No doubt it was just regular booze. Now, I've always wanted to stream an RPG on Saturn. The Saturn had a lot of great RPGs, but nothing like the likes of that's something I have to look into. all the stuff that I found is proving useful. Not for the most part. Yes. What exactly do I have on right now? see, where's the church? It's the castle. Okay, I think I played enough. This is a good game. I'm getting it. It's a little bit more expansive than Shining in the Darkness. It's very different, but in a good way. Unlike unlike its predecessor, there are multiple towns. There are paths to get from one point A to point B, and it's all not one. It's not sequestered to just one big dungeon. No, there's all these little tiny dungeons which were around, which I felt was a weakness in Shining in the Darkness, is that everything took place in just one location. But with this, it's been spread out. The monsters are very unique. Um, the story is pretty interesting. My only gripe with this, I really don't like this pre-rendered art style that they went with. Of course, they would refine their techniques with Golden Sun later on, but I personally felt like they should have stuck with the European cartoony aesthetic that they had. I thought that was that was fun, but or better. But I guess they were just experimenting. They're trying to find ways to make the game look a little bit more modern. So I can't fault them for that. Anyway, guys, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace out. Lates.